Welcome to the Grid Challenge Volume 1. I'm Andrew Kurland. With me, Davey Siegel, talking everything NASCAR playoffs. Yeah, that's right. You're stuck with us for 10 weeks. Is that a good or bad thing?
I would lean towards bad, definitely, but they got no choice now, so it's their fault.
Man, the drama's just going to keep going with the next 10 weeks. And we were talking a little bit before this about trying to fill out our playoff bracket. That's what this first volume is dedicated to, making the big predictions before the playoffs start. And I had tremendously more difficult of a time this year filling it out than I have in years past. Like, it just seems like, I don't know, besides Harvick and Hamlin, everything else kind of seems like a toss-up.
Dude, it's really hard. I mean, because, a couple years back we had the big three and me, and then the me wound up winning, right? And then this year it's kind of like the big two and who. I don't know who else is there. I mean, you can argue that's pretty good. I made that up on the spot.
That's the episode title name right there. Has to be.
The big two and who. We're the big two and who's watching.
Let's jump right into the round of 16. Who's in, who's out? Let's start with who's out. That's a little bit easier at this point.
So the first round, usually, I think it's somewhat self-explanatory of who's going to make it pass and who's going to not be able to advance. And I don't really think it's any different this year for two people in particular, and that's Austin Dillon and Cole Custer. Just because we didn't really expect them to get into the playoffs based on points, they won their way in. Cole Custer at Kentucky, Austin Dillon obviously at Texas. Both, they won them straight up, but they weren't on straight-up speed, so to speak. You know what I mean? So
yep.
Austin and Cole are my two first drivers that are going to be out. I went back and forth between Alex Bowman and somebody else, but I just looked at Alex Bowman's past results. He's only got 2 top 10s in his last 7 races. His win in Fontana, I don't know about you, Andrew, but that feels like literally
forever.
3 years
It's
ago
almost like
point.
A different season. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. So I got Bowman out in the first round, unfortunately, for Hendrick Motorsports and him in the 88. And also, I think Matty D is just not going to be able to carry enough speed and momentum on a consistent basis. Although I do know he's really good at Bristol, but I think that the first 2 races at Darlington and Richmond in particular, I think the big guns are going to show out, and he's going to have too much of a deficit to make up going into Bristol. So I got Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, Alex Bowman, and Matty D out in the first round.
Now we kind of understand who the weak links are for the next round. So let's go into round 12.
I think Eric Almirola is going to be out of this round, and I think his Stewart-Haas Racing teammate Clint Boyer is going to join him, unfortunately. I know Clint's actually pretty good on road courses, and he's not terrible on super speedways. Eric Almirola obviously got a win at Talladega. Boyer just hasn't really been able to finish races. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be there in the first stage and part of the second stage, and then he'll just fall off. So I think he's going to not be able to be as consistent as he needs to be to get into the round of 8. And I also got William Byron going out in this round. I know he has the win recently at Daytona, but I think when you look at the rest of the field, he's probably the weakest link out of the guys left. And also, I think 2020 is going to bite Kyle Busch in the butt once again. I know it's crazy that he's going out in the round of 12 for me, but I literally was looking at the other guys, and I was like, okay, like Kyle's been consistent, but he's also been consistently unlucky. And, dude, I don't want any part of 2020, and if I'm Kyle Busch, I might just take the L and just be like, you know what? I won the championship last year. Maybe in the next however many races there are after I get eliminated, I'll be able to win a race. But, I don't know. This is the big one for me. I have Kyle Busch going out in the round of 12 just because it's 2020, as he says.
I was asked, what's your hot take for the NASCAR playoffs? And I said, I don't know if I necessarily think it's going to happen, but if Kyle Busch were to get eliminated in any shocking round, it would be not making it to pass the round of 12. So, yeah. But that was my hot take. I will say, I'll have to disagree with you. As of late, it seems like they're starting to finally pick up the pieces. Mm-hmm. And I made a mistake last year of counting out Kyle Busch midway through the playoffs. I said, man, he's not in the playoff form that we're normally used to. And next thing you know, he goes and wins the championship. I think Kyle Busch makes it past the round of 12, but as we'll get to a little bit later, I don't know if he's championship quality this year. I guess where we're only different, I have 24, 14, and 1 getting out this round. Almirola, when you look at some of his stats, Talladega, 4.71 average finish, and that is really impressive at such an unpredictable track. Mm-hmm. I think if anyone can kind of shake things up, it's Eric Almirola, but I have him out after this round. So eliminated for me, William Byron, Eric Almirola, Clint Boyer, and the one of Kurt Busch.
So instead of Kyle, you got Kurt. So we just flip-flopped the Busch brothers there.
That's right, yeah.
What you got, round of 8?
Is it fair to say we advance the 4 and the 11, right, to the championship 4?
Let's just get them all to, yeah,
they're
let's get them
guaranteed
all.
locks. Let's just move them straight to Phoenix,
Easily.
compete for a championship. This is so tough. 2 for me right away. Like I said, Kyle Busch makes it to this round, doesn't make it far. With no playoff points and just, it doesn't scream championship season for me. I say Kyle Busch gets eliminated. I will say Ryan Blaney didn't quite strike me for championship 4 quality, so he's also eliminated. But then it is a toss-up. Who are your first 2, I guess, that you have eliminated? Because we'll go there, and then we'll announce our championship 4.
So you have Kyle as your first guy out. I got Kurt as my first guy out because when you look at the rest of the field, like we said, we're putting Kevin and Denny straight to Phoenix. We get that. So that leaves us with MTJ, Keselowski, Logano, Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Kurt Busch. And out of those drivers, Kurt is clearly the weakest link. Ryan Blaney, I agree with you. I don't think that he's going to be championship 4 quality this year specifically. Chase Elliott, I went way back and forth with him.
I know.
I just don't think he's going to make it this year either. I think the streak of Chevrolet still not getting a car into the championship 4 is going to continue, which is crazy. And out of the Penske duo of Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, I'm going to go Logano will not make it past this round either. I think Keselowski just has he's got something to prove. I know he signed a 1-year deal with Penske, but at the same time, I think he still kind of feels like the deck is stacked against him a little bit because he sees these 2 younger drivers in his own stable that are running really well, and he maybe sees the writing on the wall that next year may be his final year at Penske with Roger. I don't know. I don't have any inside sources, but I think he's going to be out to prove something this year. So that means my championship 4 will consist of Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, we know that, Brad Keselowski, and Martin Truex Jr.
So I will agree with you on Martin Truex making it to the championship 4. I think out of these 3 races, he is consistently the best. As you mentioned, literally like the 3rd guy.
Yeah.
Every single weekend for like 5 straight weekends.
This is his best round for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I will say this. I've said Chase Elliott for so many years making it to the championship 4. It used to be a bold prediction. Now I think it is more of a realistic reach for me.
Yeah.
So I will say Chase Elliott makes it to the round of 4. I think he's kind of been that 4th guy, kind of swapping in between some of the Penske guys. And Team Penske, while they've been really good, really consistent, just too quiet for me. Chase Elliott has had that winning form after the pandemic hit. Joey Logano's 2 wins came before we shut down. And I think under this new world of no practice and everything, Chase Elliott and that 9 team a little bit better chance of making it to Phoenix and racing for that championship. So Harvick, Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, my championship 4.
Who's it going to be,
it?
Phoenix boy?
All right, I will say this. I thought last year was Hamlin's year, especially given that he won the Phoenix race 1 year ago with the backs against his wall, had to go win that to advance to Homestead. And we thought that was his year. And we look at this year, man, it's almost like he's having a better season, and we haven't even started the final 10 races.
Way better.
My 2020 champion, Denny Hamlin.
I hate that word agreeing, but I agree.
I know.
I think I agree for a different reason, though. I don't think it's like a hunger and a drive to become a champion for Denny. I actually think it's the exact opposite. And hear me out. I know you've been on some of the post-race Zooms when Denny's won or finished 2nd or 3rd, so he's talked about it ad nauseum. But even last year, I mean, he was straight up when saying, like, I don't need a championship to validate my career to myself or anybody else.
Yeah.
Because I know what I've done is kick ass and great. I think that works to his advantage because, and I know it's cliche to say, I do. I think it puts him at ease, and I think that he's not going to put pressure on himself. Chris Gabehart, I'm sure, will maybe try to put pressure on his driver because it works in the past. But Denny is so calm, cool, collected, even keel, even this year, too. Like, he wants to keep racking up the wins because they had the preseason goal of 10 wins, which is nuts. But that's realistic to get to. And I think once he makes it to Phoenix, he's not going to have any pressure. He's going to say, hey, man, look, I won this race last year. I got a lot of track time at this racetrack. There's going to be no practice, no problem for me. I'm going to have 2 teammates that are going to be able to help me out. Martin, I feel like I have the upper hand on him. Kevin, this was once his playground, Phoenix was, but now it's my turn. I don't need this championship, but God damn it, I want it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go in with the sense of like, I need this. This is my one shot. I really think it's more so like, I'm Denny Hamlin, like, I want this, so I'm just going to take it. And as he said at Dover, right, he says sometimes you got to just F and take it. He's going to F and take it. Denny Hamlin's your champ.
All right. Man, we had a pretty similar playoff grid.
Yeah.
With some slight exceptions, but it's going to be interesting to see how far off we are in 10 weeks from now.
I will say, last year preseason, I picked Denny to win it, and when he had to pit last year to overheat for the tape on the grill, I was like, oh, God.
You were so close to being right.
And preseason this year, I also picked Denny to win it. I don't have any receipts or anything like that, but just take me at my word. I did.
This is our like digital receipt, at least 10 weeks out. You guys are just getting started with us. We got, 9 more volumes to go, if not 1 more.
9 more volumes, baby.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week on the Grid Challenge.